Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. 2 easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got director Michael Day with me. So welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk with you, and we have to talk Clawfoot. But before we do, let's talk about you a little bit, and tell me a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business. That's a difficult industry to go into, whether you're acting or not. What made you want to get into that?
Yeah, it all goes back to my first DVD I ever had was the Matrix, and I was watching the special features on it.
Yeah.
First time I really saw behind the scenes, and I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. That's a job. I was like, and I just was like, that's really cool. So then I went to high school. I was like, let me do the TV classes and stuff, and it was just because it looked like a fun job to do. And I was like, that just looks cool, and I love movies, so it's a win-win.
I mean, most people would watch the movie and want to go into acting, but you
Yeah.
watched the special edition stuff, the behind the scenes stuff, and wanted to do that.
Yeah, true. I never thought about that. Yeah, no desire to be in front of the camera. I know I don't got that. That's a whole other, that's very difficult. And I don't have that.
Well, I
So,
saw you had done you've done work on a lot of the nerdy stuff, some of the Marvel stuff, the Snake Eyes, Top Gun, all that stuff.
yeah, no, yeah, been very fortunate, been very lucky to get to work on some really cool projects with some, yeah, great people.
What's the what's the difference in like a production assistant and a assistant or an accountant on a thing? Is it just what it sounds like you're dealing with the numbers side of it, or are you involved in the kind of the day-to-day of the production?
Yeah, so yeah, if you're like an assistant accountant, then you're just focused only on the money, and you're just like handling like the AP, like the vendors, paying the vendors, payroll.
I mean, that can be kind of important on a production set.
Yeah, especially when you're on a tight budget and you need to make sure everyone knows, yeah, what all the money is getting spent. But then like the PA on the other hand, like they kind of just they're kind of like a Swiss Army knife, and they can help any department. Like basically that's their job, just kind of run around from person to person and help whoever needs help. And yeah, they're just kind of a gopher for everybody in a good way.
Had you always intended to move into directing, or did it just kind of come up because of the work you were doing on the sets?
Yeah, well, so I always wanted to produce, though, and I was looking for, this is when I was transitioning into producing. I was just trying to do some short films with some friends.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get a director to do the short that I was going to produce that I also wrote. And I just couldn't find a director. And then I was talking to my buddy, and he's like, why don't you just direct it? Then that way, we're doing this for fun anyway, just to kind of do, see if we, get our feet wet. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I know the story anyway. I wrote it. Let's just do it. And so then that just kind of like, oh, that's a lot of fun. That's even more fun than producing. I was like, why don't I want to do this instead? And so then I was like, yeah, let's just. And then I just started like from that point forward, I started making shorts like crazy with my friends. I was like always calling up the shoot on the weekends, doing web series, and music videos, anything I could do in my spare time, I was doing.
Well, and that's the way to do it if you're trying to break into
Yeah.
directing. You got to start with the smaller stuff and move up.
Yeah.
It's rare if somebody's going to be like, why don't you take this $100 million budget movie and direct? I know you've never directed, but we got a good feeling.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, you figure it out along the way. Yeah. Because like even for Clawfoot, they got the cast attached, but that was only contingent on them meeting me and making sure that they're comfortable with me because this was my first time doing a feature. And so that was important that I had to they kind of like was, hey, so what's your vision? What are you thinking? Like, if we're gonna do this movie, we need to know what you're doing. And so had some really good conversations with the cast, and yeah, they're like, yeah, we think you can do it. And
Did you help with the writing with the script, or is it all directing?
I did producing and directing.
Yeah.
April Wolf wrote the script, and yeah, she did a great job on that, and we had a lot of fun with that script. And
Yeah,
again,
that's pretty cool. And it's got a great cast. I know you've got Nestor attached to it. Nestor's a good friend of ours. You know, we love seeing him in everything. Him and his wife are the best. You know, they've both been on the show. I was a big fan of hers.
oh wow, yeah.
Invited her to come on the show, and she came on, and we were having a conversation. And I don't remember what the subject was, but I remember her saying, "You know who would like this? Nestor." And then a few weeks later, he came on.
It's like, well, if that's what you want.
I was like, "Oh, Nestor, I hadn't heard of him. What's he doing?"
Yeah. Does he do movies? Does he do TV? Anything big?
Well, and then Olivia also on there, and shame on me because I didn't realize that she was doing some acting. That's awesome.
She's been she's doing it for a couple of years now, and she just steals the scenes. She's amazing, so talented. Even Francesca, she's like texting me. She's like, she's so great. And she's like, we gotta do another one with her. She's so great. And it's like,
I saw her at a coffee shop in LA.
Oh.
My wife and I were just wandering around, and it was hot, so we just stopped in to get. It was a coffee shop. We were drinking mimosas. So full disclosure. But we're sitting there, and she's sitting almost directly across from us, and I kept telling my wife, I was like, "Boy, she looks familiar." You know, I was like, "I've seen her somewhere." I couldn't place her. But then we were staying at the Roosevelt there on Hollywood, and they were doing a fashion show that she was headlining. So I got back to the hotel, and her picture was everywhere. And I was like,
that's where I know her from.
But I had heard that she's actually a really talented actress. She just hadn't done it before.
No, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, like I was so impressed and blown away. And the dialogue was real witty and dry and fun. And she just sold it. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is Clawfoot about? What's the story?
Yeah, so it's the story is about Janet, this trophy wife, stay-at-home trophy wife that seems to have it all, but then his contractor shows up, mysteriously, and he has some renovations to do that the husband's set up. And the whole time she's acting a little weird, like that's odd, but there's something below the surface. But she eventually lets him in just because we don't really know why.
Right.
And then so it's really about just it then becomes a cat and mouse. There's some they both have some dark secrets on either side. They both hide and have skeletons in their closet, and they're both just kind of pushing the limits to figure out. And then you realize, oh, there's more to play here than just a construction job. Like there's definitely some bodies in the back.
So it's kind of twisty.
Yeah, twisted. It's fun. It's dark. It's comedic. It's a fun ride.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, and it's out, right? It's out now.
It's on, you can get on Apple, like any VOD platform right now. You can buy or rent.
We're our plan is to watch it in studio. So we always, I'm lucky because most of my family lives in this area. So anytime I have somebody on, I'm like, this weekend we're watching the movie, and they'll all come to the studio, and we can set about 20 in here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to check it out because that type of movie, especially, it's just more fun in a group.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a fun little ride. The music's fun. It's different. I pulled a lot from I love the show The White Lotus. That was a huge inspiration for this.
It's coming back next year.
I know. Oh, I just saw it with Walter Goggins. Oh my God, such a talented actor.
I saw him. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, seriously, like just anything with him, I'm watching.
I know he's an odd looking guy, but he's so recognizable, and he's just talented. I mean, everything he's in's good.
Yeah. Every character, he just makes it his own.
Yeah.
And feels the scenes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So where'd the title come from? Because I kept thinking Clawfoot, and the only thing I could come up with is like the old bathtubs that had the claw feet on.
Yeah, that's exactly it too. It's not like marketed that way, but once you get into the whole construction thing is about this guy putting a clawfoot tub in the bathroom.
Okay, I kind of thought maybe that was it, but okay. Okay.
And then the tub comes into play later in the movie for some fun. There's some fun scenes at the end.
Well, so is Nestor playing the husband?
The husband, yeah.
Okay. Although I wouldn't mind seeing him as more of a darker role. That'd be interesting. But I
Yeah.
said probably playing those.
Yeah, he definitely, he's a little sinister. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's playing the I don't know if it's the villain or not, but who's playing the construction guy?
That's Milo Gibson. He's playing Leo, and
he's talented too.
Yeah, he really is, and he's got great chemistry with every scene he's in. Like, it doesn't matter who the actor is, he just finds good chemistry with them and has a nice little rapport. And like he does a lot with his eyes and just like his body language. He's just a presence on screen, and it's great. It's fun to watch him.
Well, so when you're approached to direct something, where do you start? Is that how you start? You just read the script and kind of in your head try to come up with how you want to, set the scene or whatever, or do you have another process with that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the first thing is just reading the script and falling in love with it. If it's like, if it's the right script, I can really visualize it, then it's like, yeah, like I have to be the one to direct this. Like I have to make this. And then like, it kind of just all starts flooding in, like the characters, the way they look, the way they dress. Like I start slowly just like building the setting in my mind and finding their voice of like, like the tone and inflection. And yeah, and then I just start to visualize the whole movie. And it's a fun little process. It's just like all in my head, I guess.
I know. I'm so jealous of the ability to do that. My wife's very creative, so and she paints and does a pottery and that stuff. But she can visualize things in her head of how something's going to look at the end. I cannot do that. She'll be like, "Look at this room. Imagine this." And I'm like, "Nothing."
Yeah.
But then she'll do it, and I'm like, "That's amazing."
Yeah. It's like this is what I've been telling you about this whole time.
I'm very impressed with that ability to kind of, put the pieces together without actually seeing them together.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the fun part too. It's like, you have one vid, like you read it, you see it one way, and then it actually gets cast. Then you find the locations. Then it becomes like another movie. And so it's constantly your vision like evolves in the process, but in the best way possible. And like it starts to make its own life form, I guess. And like it's all of a sudden leading you down the path. It's like, okay, well, this is the options I have. So now how do I make this fit into this box? And it's always fun because if you had everything you wanted, then it becomes boring. It's like it gets really fun when you have to like creatively find a solution for something.
Yeah.
This doesn't fit the budget or the time you have or the location you have. And so you just gotta get creative. And then that's where the real like fun creativity comes out. And it's always fun on set trying to make that happen.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, there's not that I've seen it, but there's something to be said about seeing your vision kind of manifest itself, and take shape, and you kind of watch that process. I'm telling you about my wife. She'll paint something and I'll be like, "That's amazing." And she's like, "It's not done." And then she'll paint another layer and I'll be like, "That's amazing." She's like, "It's not done." And she'll go through that 8 or 10 times. And then at the end of it, it always looks better. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So did you have to, when they approached you to direct, did you have to kind of give them your thoughts after you read it to kind of like an audition type of thing? Or were they like, "This is our guy, we're going with it"?
Yeah, no, definitely. I still had to kind of like pitch my how I would do it because the company like they have a at the end of the day it's a business too, so it's like, well, what's selling now? And so that was one of the things. The original script didn't have like you'll see there's like some more fantasy. There's some fantasy moments in it that just kind of sprinkled throughout the opening couple, like the first half, I'd say. And so that was added, by them because like, hey, we really like this concept, but like we need a little more action or a little more thrilling pieces to hook the audience sooner. So like, so what can we do there? And so that's when I went back to the writer. I was like, hey, well, like this is kind of the problem we're having right now. It's like, is there any ideas that you could come up with? And that's where she came with like, oh, what if I did I started filtering in these fantasies. And then like, so like then I pitched that back to them, like, hey, what if we did fantasies? Like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, we like this now. This works. Now let's get the cast attached and have them kind of interview you, make sure they're okay with you directing for your person.
Yeah, so they already had the cast in place. So then it was more just to make sure you had a little bit of chemistry with them, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty neat. Did it help? Like, did your background in accounting on a set, did that come into play as a director? Were you thinking, about what things were going to cost as you were doing them? Or do you just, I'm on a budget, so we just do it that way?
Yeah, no, it's I can't turn it off. Like when I'm on
Yeah.
set, I just see dollar signs everywhere, and like it's just constant, like it's a running calculator. I'm like, oh, that's cost us money, that's cost us money, and like I don't want to waste anybody's time either, because like time is money to me. Also, it's
Right.
like, and I want the crew to like I hate it when the crew shows up and they're on time, but then they're waiting 4 hours because we weren't prepared to do something right. So now they're just sitting around 4 hours
Yeah.
bored. Like everyone's there to have fun, make a movie, and so I don't want to disrespect them by not being prepared myself. So
Right.
yeah, so I'm always just looking at. So it's hard. I know that's one thing I should turn off more and let the producers handle that, but it's hard for me because I don't know. I love the people I work with, and
I would like if I was a producer, I would appreciate that. And like,
yeah,
okay, we got somebody that's looking after that stuff.
yeah,
We don't have
yeah.
to worry as much.
Yeah, yeah. And but then I'm
But
also then like, and then so I balance that with like, because I'm like also, okay, but I really need to get this scene too, guys. So let's just focus. And then so then like, okay, we're gonna go a little longer on this one, but I'll make up to you on this other one, I promise. And I'll go
yeah,
shorter over here. And so then it's just like a bargaining sometimes. But yeah,
yeah.
I need, that's one thing I wish I could just turn that off more and just be like, no, I want to be the problem.
I'm thinking once an accountant, always accountant a little.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've always been pretty good with numbers. I love statistics, especially
Yeah.
with sports and stuff. I can't turn that stuff off.
Yeah.
That's what clicks in my head when
Yeah.
I see numbers. Now, if you want to throw in, equations and letters, okay, I can turn that off.
Yeah. I don't need that. Yeah.
But if you're just throwing numbers out there, that kind of attracts my attention for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So where does Clawfoot lead you to? Is there another project that you're eyeing, or is there, now that you've had this experience directing a little bit bigger budget, does it make you want to go bigger? What's coming next?
Yeah, so I mean, I was fortunate actually. Not too long after this one wrapped, I got called. There's like kind of like an open assignment for this World War II espionage thriller. My one buddy was going to direct it, and then he had to drop out to go do another project that he had another commitment to. And so he's like, "Oh, if Mike Day might want to do this." And since I had one in the can already, they were like, "Oh, well, if he did one, he could probably do two." And so they quickly sent it to me, and it was like it's a World War II espionage thriller. Has John Cusack in it, Mira Sorvino, Brianna Hildebrand.
Oh,
Yeah, it had a
that
great
sounds
cast.
awesome.
I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, twist my arm. And so I read it and I'm 100% on board for this. This is great. And so then, so then I got to direct that one, and that movie comes out later this year as well.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's
Yeah.
so rare to get them back to back like that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I was like, and then for them both to come out in the same year, I'm like, this is like never going to happen again ever. I was like, I'm so fortunate. Like,
It's the year of Mike.
yeah. Yeah.
So does
Unless
that inspire you to kind of keep pushing forward, or are you like, okay, I'm gonna take some time off?
No, yeah, I can't ever slow down. Like, because I'm like, it's like a drug. It's like I just have so much fun doing it, and I was so lucky that I got to do another one right away. And so now I'm always like, okay, what's the next one? I got like, it's like, yeah, I can't not do. I'm always on. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't slow down.
that's good though.
Yeah, I
At
love it.
some
Yeah,
point, in your life, you're going to slow down. So
yeah,
don't slow down when you don't have to.
exactly. Yeah, like I got the energy now, and I got to drive. I'm all on board.
I saw you worked on Overlord with Wyatt Russell.
Yeah,
On that one, which that it was kind of a like, I don't even remember if it came out in theaters. It may have been straight to video as well, but it was such an odd movie. It stuck with me because it's the Nazis, World War II. It's kind of like a zombie type of thing, going on in the back. It was just kind of a neat movie. But
yeah,
I had watched it, didn't even realize that was Wyatt Russell that was in it.
right.
Because it'd
Yeah,
been so
yeah.
long
No,
ago, I didn't recognize him back then.
yeah.
And I was prepping for ours, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, not a bad one. Yeah. No, yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah. I love I don't know, I like movies where it's like you take like something like a real piece of history, then kind of just give it its own little twist. And so I don't know, I like when they blend those two like that together.
If you're doing accounting on, say, Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big budget film. I mean, how worried do you have to be about the nickels and dimes?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like on something that big, like I mean, yeah, every penny like they want to know where every penny goes. And like
Right.
that's our job is to, track it, make sure it's spent in the right place and that, we're on button keeping them like keeping the producers up to date on the budget. The nice thing is like at the end of the day, that pressure is more on the producers than the accountants. Like he's like, hey, are we over budget?
You're just telling them the truth.
Yeah,
you're not the one actually setting the budget.
Yeah, exactly. And we can say, hey, this looks like it's gonna be a red flag. We're running out of money here. Like so it's our job also to let them know when we're seeing some red
right.
So yeah, that's more of I'd say there's more pressure there is to make sure we know that if there's any pitfalls coming up and update them as soon as it happens. Because the last thing we want is for them to come on a Friday and be like, oh, all of a sudden we're like $500,000 over. Where did that happen? Like, whereas like we should be like 2 weeks ago, hey, if we keep going down this road, we're gonna be $500,000 over. So then he can correct course halfway.
I mean, that has to be a better situation than, you know, I've had people on where they'll say, well, we were working on this film and just ran out of money. And we haven't raised enough to get back to it.
Right. Yeah. And that you'd be surprised how often that happens. And it's just because it shouldn't. It's like, yeah, like people need to be better tracking. It's like it's tough and like because things move so fast. And so yeah, that happens
really hard because by the time you got back to it, now if it's, you know, weeks or something, that's no big deal. But if it took a while, because people change in appearance so much over a little bit of time, I think it'd be difficult getting right back to it.
Yeah. Especially if it's like with a kid or a minor who's growing, like
oh my gosh,
that's
we've all seen those shows where from one season to the next, the kid like triples in size.
Yeah, exactly. Like Stranger Things, I'm like, wait, what grade are they gonna get?
Right. Stranger Things, which is awesome show, but they
Love
probably would have benefited from moving a little quicker.
Yeah,
because they have that. I mean, they're grown-ups now.
Yeah, and the next season's coming out. It's like, wait, where? Yeah,
I'm friendly with a lot of the cast from Resident Alien, you know, with Alan Tudyk, and they've got a young boy that plays. I call him young now, but he's, you know, a teenager, and watching him from like the beginning where he's just a kid, he's just a little kid, and it's, you know, it's 4 or 5 years later, and he's a grown man.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, that could mess up your storytelling a little.
Yeah, you need to write that in the story somehow.
Do you have a genre that you want to direct or to try that you haven't got to?
You know, I mean, I honestly love the dark comedy space, which is you know, Clawfoot's a dark comedy thriller. So like I just love the dark comedy of it all. So like I love, yeah, I mean, I would love to just keep exploring that a little more right now, just because I don't, there's not enough of the dry comedy out there. I feel like I want to see more of that and just
agree. Yeah.
I
tend to like those too.
I go back to like the White Lotus. I'm like, that's a perfect show. Like the tone, the acting, the story, the writing, the directing.
You know, and it's so hard to do with an anthology to like continually put out good seasons. And I mean, they've nailed it every year.
Impressive. Yeah. And
I didn't realize who it was that was writing those. And he's an actor. I knew him. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And what's crazy, this is the same guy that wrote School of Rock, you know, with Jack Black.
I didn't know that either until I kind of looked him up.
He's a very like, I mean, he did tons of studio movies back in the day, and now he started doing like his more like stylized stuff now. It's so impressive. But
White Lotus is probably one of our favorite shows right now.
Yeah, that's mine right now, And and I'll say like that's the other thing I'd say, but that's one thing in the future I'd try is maybe just a straight up comedy where it's not dry, just more of like a School of Rock type movie where it's just like a fun comedy.
I think comedies would be difficult because it's such a, I mean, it's kind of like music, you know, the comedy has to be in a rhythm, the jokes.
Right. And it's like what, you know, and especially internationally too, like what we find funny, other people don't find funny, you know, like, but even in the States, it's like what I find funny, my parents don't find funny. So it's just whereas like action's action, it's always going to be, 1 + 1 = 2 in those, but with the comedy, it's like specific to different people.
That's right. Yeah, that's a really good point. Do you have any desire to do like a series or TV show at some point?
Yeah, I like going back to the White Lotus again. It'd be something like that, or like a True Detective. Like I like those darker ones like that too.
That was a good season that just ended with Jodie Foster. Really good.
Oh, you know what? I haven't caught up on that one yet.
Oh yeah, you'll want to. But yeah, those are fun to watch. That was. I watched just because I love Jodie Foster, and she doesn't do a ton anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah,
I was like, we need to watch that one.
Yeah,
she Good as ever.
Oh yeah, always. Yeah. She can do no wrong.
You may need to get into writing and just start writing some of this yourself. And
Yeah, just start writing my own comedy stuff. Yeah.
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 If like I laugh at everything. I think everything just amuses me. You know, I'm just one of those people. But if I tried to sit down and write something funny, it'd be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's like, wait, is this funny? Is this a joke? Like, it's more, yeah, I like the in person. It's easier where you can just riff off of stuff.
Well, yeah. I had a gentleman on that he did a show on Hulu called Quick Draw that it came out probably 15 years ago. And it ran a couple of seasons. But he was an actor, so he really wasn't a writer, but he wrote the show, but he just kind of set the scene, and then he just hired improv actors. So the whole show is improvised.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, now I know why it was kind of short seasons and only lasted a couple seasons. It was probably really difficult to film because you'd have to do multiple takes all the time.
Yeah, it's like you have to recreate what you just made up right there on the spot. And so yeah,
it was funny. I found it during the pandemic, thought it was brand new, and it turned out it had been out for like 10 years at that point.
What was that called again? I want to check that out.
Quick Draw.
Quick Draw. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. And you'll recognize the people in it. You know, it's actors you'll recognize, but they're all really good at improv. So everything you're watching wasn't scripted. I mean, the scene was scripted, but the dialogue is all just made up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Check that out.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I'd never seen a show that was, I mean, some things you'll have certain moments that are kind of improvised, that type, or the director will be like, well, let's have some fun with this one, see what you got. And maybe that sticks, but the whole show, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's like very much like just like a Saturday Night Live type.
That's exactly what.
Yeah, see what happens.
Like there was moments it felt like you were kind of watching the
like a little sketch thing. I love that. That's fun.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. And so I had him on and had such a good time. Then we brought the cast on and did kind of which was kind of funny because they had done it 10 years prior. And all of them have moved on to bigger careers, so having them back together, kind of talking through, it was kind of fun. It was
like a little reunion too. That's awesome.
But I didn't have to do anything. I mean, a bunch of improvers, they basically interviewed themselves.
Yeah, you probably just sit there like a fly on the wall.
I did. If there was ever a law, and there wasn't many, I might throw something out there. But the rest of the time, I just sat back and watched like everybody else.
Yeah, and just enjoy the show.
Yeah, you should check that one out. I think
I will.
Appreciate that.
Quick Draw. That sounds good.
Do you ever do that as a director? Do you ever do the fun takes?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to let actors. I love to give them that freedom to like, they're always like. There's been a few times like, do you want me to do this like as scripted? I'm like, do it as scripted. I was like this is the point. Like I'll go say, hey, like so this is the meat of what getting across, obviously. But if there's a more natural way for you to say it, like that's the only thing. I want it to be natural. And so I'm always like, whatever feels natural. And then like at the end, I was like, now just. Yeah, go off page, do what you want, see what sticks, what doesn't, and it's always just kind of fun to see what they come up with.
Yeah, that's I think that's a good way to direct. Not that I know anything about it, but it seems like if you give actors a chance to have a voice, even if you don't end up using it, they're more likely to go along with whatever you're asking of them.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. Do you have is there an actor out there or someone within Hollywood that you would like to work with at some point?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, it's a long list.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I mean, the one, and this is like, I guess I've always just wanted to work with Keanu Reeves. I'm such a fan, and he's so talented.
Everybody likes Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
We don't agree on anything as a country, but we all agree on that we like Keanu.
100%, yeah. That is like, I mean, I'd vote for him. It's like I love him, and like he's great. Everything he does, and you always hear these great stories about him on set of just being like the nicest guy. And it's like, I would love to.
That's a great. I should have guessed that because you mentioned The Matrix. I should have.
Yeah. The
Matrix. Is that your like? If you think of Keanu, is that the movie you think of?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's with me, it's Point Break.
Okay. See, actually, I saw Point Break later in life. Actually, so I kind of missed that one, and then I saw that like Yeah, way. So that would have been even after The Matrix, and I was like, oh yeah, now Johnny Utah, now that's a great movie. And I love that
Yeah,
too.
oh, Johnny Utah.
Yeah,
Well, I love Patrick Swayze. Being honest, I may
yeah,
have been watching it because of Patrick Swayze at the time.
exactly. Yeah, big star then. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's fantastic. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's so missed.
yeah,
Talented guy. And
yeah,
honestly, if he wasn't an actor, he'd be dancing somewhere.
100%. Yeah,
He was unbelievable dancer.
yeah, agree.
The girl I dated in high school absolutely loved him, and it was all because of Dirty Dancing.
Oh, I
We
bet.
went
Yeah,
to the theater and saw it. We were teenagers, and
yeah,
that was her movie, and she
yeah.
absolutely loved it. Now,
Oh, good.
you go Patrick Swayze for me. It's not Point Break, Keanu.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze is probably Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I just watched the new one just like a couple weeks ago,
What'd
actually.
you think of that one? I haven't got a chance to watch that yet.
Yeah, it was fun. I like Jake Gyllenhaal really did a good job with it, and yeah, it's like good, just like some really good fight scenes and sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
liking him
I'm
on
still, I'm
Presumed
still.
Innocent.
What's that?
That Presumed Innocent that he's
Oh,
doing for Apple. He's great on there.
yeah, my brother was just telling me about that. That's on my list now too because I heard I heard that's really great.
Yeah, I love the movie with Harrison Ford, but it came out like 30 years ago, and
Yeah,
that's so I don't remember anything about it. I just remember I really liked it when it came out. But the shows, it's it's difficult to watch because he's such a good actor. It
yeah,
just and he's his character's going through a pretty rough time, and it's emotional. It makes you kind of you're feeling bad for him.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, Keanu, I should have thought of that, but that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Um, did I see that you got to work on like a turtle movie at one point?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I worked on just the reshoots of it. So
Oh,
we
okay.
went back for a couple of months and did some reshoots, like a week of filming. But yeah, I mean that was fun to see, like how they do that because they're wearing these suits, like these like motion capture suits
Well,
and
that was
stuff.
kind of what I was thinking because at some point, as a director, you may have to use some of that.
Yeah, I mean that's literally the future. So yeah, it was good kind of seeing that and like how that played out in like a real world environment. And yeah, that was interesting, and that was a fun movie too.
My son, huge turtle fan.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of his thing when he was growing up. Uh, so he still, if I talk to him, I'll be like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm watching the Turtles from 2007 or whatever."
Yeah. Still enjoys them.
He's a lot like me. It's like once we find things we like them forever.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah, it's just like if I like it once, I'm gonna like it forever.
Yeah,
That's it. I'm
yeah,
done.
that's it. Over and done. Yeah.
Was The Matrix your movie growing up, or did you have another one that was your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite growing up, me and my brothers, we love Dumb and Dumber and Rocky too. I remember, Rocky. Well, I guess all the Rockies. My brother had the big box set, and so, but we always loved starting. Yeah, when we got the two, we're like, oh, I don't know, something about that fight in that one. But those were like growing up, Dumb and Dumber and Rocky is what we watch. And then once I got the Matrix, I was like, okay, now it's the Matrix.
Yeah, no, it's the Matrix. But yeah, Rocky movies are terrific.
Yeah.
Even the new ones, the Creed
Oh,
movies.
yeah, the Creed one's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing what they done with that character. Yeah, really great.
I feel
Michael
like I
B.
kind of grew up with Sylvester Stallone because Rocky came out. I was probably 6, 7 years old when it came out, and then he's still putting stuff out there. There's still
Yeah,
Rocky movies out
still
there.
making Rocky movies. Yeah, like our entire lives he's been making Rocky.
I'd seen it's been years ago, but I saw, he still had those turtles from Rocky.
Yeah, I saw that too, actually. I couldn't believe it.
Because I guess turtles live; they can be 100, 200 years old.
Yeah,
He still had them.
Yeah, that's so impressive.
That's one of those. It's like as a pet owner, at some point you get some freedom.
Yeah,
Not with turtles.
Yeah, they're trying to get the freedom from you.
Well, Mike, thank you for taking a little bit of time. The movie looks awesome. I can't wait to watch it this weekend. I'll send you some pictures because
Yeah, I can't
we'll
wait.
have the crew in getting ready to check it out. If it's too scary, I'll be covering my eyes. I'm a big chicken.
Yeah, Yeah. No, it doesn't get too scary. Yeah, it's a fun one. You'll have fun with it.
I like that it's a thriller and a dark comedy. I really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. I like to make, yeah, it's fun to kind of mix those two genres. It's like it doesn't take itself too serious.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Was there a what was like your biggest challenge on set? Did you run into something that was a headache that you had to kind of correct?
I think the biggest problem, I mean, the biggest problem every day was just the schedule. We had 14 days to film everything,
That's
and
fairly quick.
yeah, yeah. So we were like, and we were like, so we were shooting like a lot of pages a day, a lot of scenes, and so that was always the biggest challenge. And then like, there's a one other time where I think something, the script supervisor caught something that we said something different in a scene earlier about what happens later in the movie, and it's like about like some nefarious dealings, like some money, like I won't say it since you haven't seen it yet, but so then when we got to that scene, we're like, oh wait, we actually need to rewrite, we need to like kind of fix like a line or two in this to make so it makes sense for what was said earlier.
Right.
We just couldn't wrap our heads around the logic of it, and we kind of went down like a spider web of trying to don't work now all of a sudden. And then I was like really freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like this will not make sense now. We have to go back and reshoot it, and we don't have time to. And I was really worried at that point. But then
yeah, because as fans, we'll find the mistake.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And my wife does that quite a bit with if it's visual, where they've cut a scene, maybe somebody's they're holding something up, and then it switches kind of same scene, but then they're not holding it, or they're holding something different, or maybe they've taken the bite and it's gone and then it's back, something like that. She catches that every time.
Yeah.
But even if it's just on the vocabulary and what they're saying, if it's not matching up with what you said earlier in the movie, fans will find it.
Yeah, because there's like a story point, and I was like, oh shit, we got to make sure
you got to fix that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there a chance at some point that we get a Clawfoot 2?
Oh, we were just joking about that recently the other day. It's like there is when you get to the end, like there is something we could do with it after this, and like with Janet, Janet and Tasha, the two females. There's something that we could have fun with that and do like a Thelma and Louise type movie or something.
Oh yeah,
fun. Yeah.
Oh, I kind of love that. I always like the possibilities, there's a chance that you'll see those characters again.
Yeah, because like that's the thing, like when like we see Francesca and Olivia in the scene together, you're like, oh my God, like they just have so much chemistry, they get along so good, and like their dialogue is just so perfect. Like it's just the banter is so great. And like I just want to do a whole movie just those two together in every scene. Like they're so fun.
Yeah, I love that. That makes me want to go see it more.
Yeah.
I guess I have to go see it. I'm just going to be here. It's coming.
Yeah. Just hit play.
Did you get to do a red carpet for it?
Yeah, so we premiered it last year at the Newport Beach Film Festival. Yeah, and so the cast came out and everything. It was so much fun, and we did a little Q&A afterwards. Like the theater sold out. It was a full house. We did a Q&A, and then we went out for drinks afterwards, and it was great. We had a lot of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, because I know, especially during the pandemic, 2020, we a lot of people missed out on having those type of premiere events. They may have finished the project, but then we were in lockdown. They never got to go. And I always thought that's kind of disappointing, because that's kind of the reward for the work you've done.
Yeah, that's the light at the end of the tunnel. We work so hard, don't get to celebrate.
Go celebrate a little bit.
Disappointing if you don't get to do that. Yeah.
So a couple little things, Mike, before I let you go. Anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for? You've been pretty busy.
Yeah, so I just literally just wrapped. I was just producing only, though. I wasn't directing. I just wrapped a thriller comedy with Justin Long, Ron Perlman, Jake Lacey, and Ashley Benson. And
oh my gosh, I love that cast.
Yeah, and with David Arquette made a little cameo. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be really cool, and I'm excited to see this one come together now.
When's that come out?
They'll come out early next year, I believe.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Let's spread those out a little bit. You got a couple this year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
What's the name of that one?
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that cast is
yeah.
That's kind of in my wheelhouse. I love that cast.
And the movie, it's like Dog Day Afternoon, but at a strip club, and it's just a lot of fun.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah.
You may have to come back and talk about that one.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, at Mike Day Films. Real
Oh,
simple.
it's easy.
Yeah.
You didn't have trouble finding, like getting Mike Day? Because, like Mike Wall, there's 100 of us.
Yeah, I can't do anything Mike Day. Mike Day is taken every time. So I always got to figure something out, like something else to add after it or a number or a symbol. Yeah, there's too many Mike Days out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Mike anything, your chances are somebody's got it.
exactly. Yeah.
Although nobody's naming their kid Mike anymore.
Oh, yeah. That has kind of died off.
Like when I was growing up, number one name, Mike.
Yeah.
Number two was David, which is my middle name. That's my dad's name.
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin's name.
But but now you don't see as many.
No, that's true. Huh. Well, gotta bring it back.
We need to bring Mike back.
Yeah, bring Mike back.
Well, hey, Mike, thank you so much. And definitely open invitation. Anything you got going on, if you want to come talk, just come back.
Yeah, I'd love to. That'd be great. I'll definitely we circle back on the next one. And yeah, with Stranglehold as well. That'd be fun to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get the cast for that. We do like have the whole group.
Yeah, get everyone on board. Yeah, do like a
that'd
whole
be hilarious. Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, they're so fun together. Yeah, I'd love that.
All right, Mike, hold on one second. How fun was that, director Michael Day? The movie is Clawfoot. It's out now. Make sure you go and check it out. Olivia Culpo and Francesca Eastwood, along with our buddy Nestor Carbonell. Amazing cast. Can't wait to see the movie. So I know I'm watching it this weekend. So you'll have to let us know when you see the interview. Let us know what you think of the film. Sounds amazing. Can't wait to watch it. I think Mike is so talented. Not going to be the last time we hear from him. I think he's going to just keep going on to bigger and better things. So happy that we're here at the relative beginning of his directing career, because I think it's going to be special. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with us again this week. We definitely don't take you for granted. We've got 823 episodes and counting, and you can watch or listen to all of those on our website, meistercon.com. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really would help us out. IMDb, I haven't mentioned this in a little while. IMDb named us a top 100 podcast, which so honored for anybody to put us on their top 100 list, let alone IMDb, which is the entertainment database. 15 million podcasts out there to be on a top 100 list is just mind-boggling to me. I can't believe it. When Brett and I started this podcast about 5.5 years ago, we just did it as a way to kind of bond and talk about things that we loved as a father and son. Had no real ambition or thought that it would lead to anything, and then it took off. And I was able to retire from my career and do this full time. Brett, he's a children's librarian during the day, and then does the podcast stuff at night. It's just been an incredible journey. So thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.